this ball game tonight, the 6th of the 1984 high school season, and tonight a big one. The state's number 2 ranked team, the Han Tigers, taking on the number 7th ranked team in the New Haven Register poll, the Middletown Blue Dragons.
And if I remember Blue Dragons all night, Chris, it's going to be a miracle. Of course, I graduated from Woodrow Wilson back before Wilson and Middletown were combined, and Middletown was always the Tigers. As a matter of fact, it was the Tigers until this year, when the two schools finally did combine. Under Coach John Scooble. John, a graduate of Woodrow Wilson in Central Connecticut, played about 4 years of minor league football also. Teams like the Ansonia Black Knights and the Meriden Shamrocks, a couple of others. Very good offensive lineman in his day. And he's coached Wilson and now Middletown to 38 wins and 13 losses in 5+ seasons, doing a real good job. He took Wilson to the playoffs twice. Middletown out here right now, undefeated, ranked 8th and the 7th in the state, as high as a Middletown school has ever been ranked in the Register poll, by the way.
Well, we're set to go, and an exciting one to come, I'm sure. And the boot is deep, and it'll be fielded by Lecky at the 10, over the 15 to the 20, 25, and he's taken down at the 27-yard line. So the Tigers will take over their first possession of the ball game, 1st and 10 from their own 27.
Sal Morello, who's a sophomore kicker for Middletown, got a nice boot off, good height on it, down to the 10-11-yard line, and Lecky didn't get a bad return out of it, but he only got out to the 27, and usually Hans' returns have been a little longer than that this year.
Big important game for Middletown tonight, as they're 3rd in playoff points in the M, and a loss would probably hurt them dramatically.
Could very well hurt Middletown, because there are 3 other teams up there that are doing a good job.
And the give on the first play of the ball game is to Kevin Piggott. Tries the right side, but he's taken down by Ted Hayes, the left defensive end.
Right, Teddy Hayes, part of a very good defense for Middletown, which has only given up 27 points in 5 games thus far. Middletown plays a 4-4, which Han fans will be familiar with, because that's what the Tigers played until they finally switched to a 5-2 this year.
Loss of 2 on the play for Piggott. It brings up a 2nd and 12. I formation. Sullivan in motion, right to left. Thompson will sprint that way, looking across the middle. Pass intended for Sullivan, incomplete at the 35.
Thompson throwing across his body, going the opposite way on the rollout that time. Did not get a whole lot on the ball, and kind of threw it into the ground. He had a nice gain if he could have connected.
Tigers offense now really hasn't clicked all that well in the first half early in the season here. They would have to do something early, I would think, tonight, because this Middletown team does possess a potent offense also, as well as a stingy defense.
And it's a ball control offense as well.
3rd down, 12. It gives to Piggott, right side. Big hole closed up quickly as Piggott carries the ball up to about the 31, but it'll bring up a punting situation for the Tigers.
Number 30, Byron Hughie, did a nice job on that play. Timmy and I had a block on him for a little while, but when Hughie saw Piggott start to cut to the outside, he spun off the block, came out and made the hit. If he didn't do that, it would probably Han would have picked up the 1st down there.
Jay Robinson and Ron Perry dropping deep for the Blue Dragons. Standing at his own 20, Thompson hesitates and then hits a beauty. Great hang time. It'll be fielded at the 23. And Perry runs right, slipped by a tackle of Simmons, and he'll be taken down just shy of the 30-yard line. Call it the 29, and the Blue Dragons will have their first possession of the evening.
Right, that was a 36-yarder all in the air. About call it a 7-yard return, I guess, and we'll set Middletown up here. Middletown plays a wing T offensively. It's an offense that's predicated on deception, good ball handling by the quarterback, and you're also going to see a lot of pulling by the offensive line. And Middletown has a real good guard in Mike Gilbert. He's not real big at 160 pounds, but he can move.
And a good quarterback, Dennis Wade, and he hands off right side, and that's the ball carrier, Jay Robinson, and he's dragged down at about the 30-yard line. Flag on the play.
Timmy and I made the hit on the play, and it is continuing to pick up right where he left off last week. Timmy had a great defensive effort against North Branford last week, as well as scoring a couple of touchdowns offensively, probably his best game of the season, and he was out there to make the hit on that play as well. Penalty, I think, is going to be against Middletown, and it may be a big one. Setting up the hand defense. The nose tackle will be Bobby Hughes, and the defensive tackle
tackles Justin Murphy and Mike Ciani. The ends, Timmy Nye, Chris Pagnatero. Linebackers will be Bill Leckie and Dennis Simmons. Wynoski will be at one rover, Timmy Wynoski. And the other one, of course, Kevin Piggott, Sullivan, and Thompson also in there.
Penalty on that play was a hold. Now there's a big play for Middletown. Gallagher, again, got the benefit of some nice ball handling by Wade in the backfield. He fooled a couple of people, and I'll tell you, I didn't see the ball for a second either, and all of a sudden he popped through there, and he picked himself up a nice quick 17, 18 yards, and set up Middletown with a 2nd and 8.
Gain is out to the 32. It'll be 2nd and 8.
3 minutes into the ball game, no score. Middletown 2nd down and 8. And Thompson is at one of the defensive back positions. And the give is to the left side, showing some good foot speed, but then he slips down on the play. That's number 12, Mike Gallagher.
Okay, Mike and Jeff are both in the offensive backfield.
There was a fumble on the play. It appeared, Hal, that he was down.
I thought he was. I thought he fell down on his own, and I thought he was down. Apparently the official didn't see it. He wasn't tackled at all, and he had a nice escort going on the outside. But apparently the officials ruled that he got rid of the ball beforehand, and I have a tendency to think Billy Leckie's probably going to get a fumble recovery out of that.
Big play for the Tiger defense. 1st down 10, 37-yard line, and flags are down.
And I think this is going to be on hand. This can be, to a certain degree, a matter of tightness on both sides a little bit. It's a very big game for the Tigers in terms of solidifying their position both in the playoff points and in the poll, possibly even moving up a step in the poll, depending on what Torrington does. And certainly for Middletown, a chance to play against one of the state's best teams, and certainly a better caliber of competition than Middletown has played thus far this year. Realistically, Middletown has not played as strong a schedule as Hand has.
Realistically speaking, also, they're obviously a much stronger team with the merging of Woodrow Wilson and Middletown high schools.
Right. It took a little while there for the kids to kind of get to know each other and to get relaxed with each other, but that happened, and it's melded very nicely.
1st and 15. Thompson sprints right, looks deep for Leckie, has him at the 15, 10, 5, tries to juke one, taken out at about the 2-yard line. Over there on the tackle, number 11, Jeff Gallagher.
One of the problems with a 4-4 is that you can run into sometimes single coverage or somebody trying to scramble back to get into double coverage. Billy Leckie came across the field with single coverage. Middletown playing a zone on that side, rotated a second guy back, but Leckie had a couple of steps. Thompson nailed the ball right on the money.
Tigers have to be extremely happy with Billy Leckie coming over. The one deep threat they have, which they didn't have before Leckie came.
The rich get richer, Chris.
Power right, take it over the right side, leaps high, and they'll mark him short of the goal line.
Kevin went across that side right there behind Murphy and Hughes, and Mike Ciati got himself within about a yard of the goal line before the Middletown defense stood him up.
2nd down, and they'll call it 1. Leckie brings in the play to Thompson.
May look for one more crack up the middle before they try to do anything fancy.
Mike Ciati leads him out of the huddle. Man right on him now. There's almost 11 men on the line of scrimmage for the Blue Dragons. Goal line defense. Piggott hurdles the left side and scores.
He got in there.
For the Tigers with 7:28 to go, 1st quarter.
Chris Price and Bobby Hughes leading the blocking on that play. And Piggott had a nice hole to dive right into, and he kind of nestled into the end zone on that.
Coach Ciati has to be happy with the Tigers scoring early. After scoring but 7 points in the first half last week, Simmons on for the extra point, and his boot is good. So with 7:28 to go here in the 1st quarter, in this big one from the Madison Surf Club, it's the Hand Tigers 7 and the Blue Dragons of Middletown nothing.
Okay, we're back here. Avery Askew down in the middle for Middletown is the guy to watch. He's already run a punt back for a TD against Guilford this year.
Thompson's boot. He fielded at about the 17. Taking right side, slips a tackle to Piggott. Has some room right side. And dragging him down from behind, Timmy Nye, after he crossed the 30-yard line to about the 31.
And that is Avery Askew, who basically played his sports at Middletown High until this year. Came over to the combined school, still Middletown High, but now combined with Wilson. And first game of the year, he ran a punt back against Guilford to score the first points in the history of the new combined high school. Last year, he also ran a kickoff back, I believe, against Guilford. So he has some good breakaway speed.
There was a flag on the play, so that'll back things up
And we
inside
have a clip.
the 10.
We have a clipping call on this. That's unusual. We usually see blocking below the waist on that call. This time we got one from behind.
We'll spot the ball at about the 9-yard line, so 91 to go for the Blue Dragons.
Again, horrible field position for Middletown to start with.
Single back behind Wade, and straight up the middle. Short pickup.
They had Gallagher given credit for the carry. Hand people tackled 3 different ball carriers on that play. That's what that wing tee can do for you if it's run with real good deception. It gets you thinking about a whole lot of different things, and it's a lot of misdirection plays and a lot of that kind of thing. That's something the Tigers have to be wary of.
In motion, right to left. And Thompson on the tackle at about the 10-yard line, taking Mike Gallagher down.
That time Mike Gallagher was set out as a wingback, came in motion, took the handoff, went wide. Tigers slowed him down inside. I'm not sure who got the penetration there, but somebody kind of grabbed an arm on him, didn't make the tackle, and, you know, people will say, oh, he missed the tackle or whatever. He didn't miss the tackle. He slowed him down well enough so that somebody else could come up and make the hit.
3rd down and 7 for the Blue Dragons. They're looking to get their potent offense in gear. They split a man way wide right, and that's Ron Perry. Wade will give the ball straight up the middle, and the Tigers will take him down at about the 11-yard line. No gain on the play. Brings up a punting situation for the Blue Dragons.
Billy Leckie and Robbie Pegnatero getting up off the bottom of the pile there, but they had about 4 or 5 people making the hit on that play. Hand did a nice job defensively there, and now they're in a situation where Middletown's pinned very deep, and you've got to look for a good field position out of this. Middletown also graduated an outstanding punter last year, actually from Wilson, Billy Baker, who was an all-state punter, averaged well over 40 yards a kick. We'll have to see what Kyle Skeen can do. He's a real big, tall kid, 6'6", about 185 pounds.
Skeen, left-footed punter. Ball bounced down at the 45. It'll be fielded by Piggott, and he will go absolutely nowhere, taken down right about the 45, but inside Blue Dragon territory, so the Tigers will have good field position once again.
Skeen did a good job. He needed all of that 6'6" on that to go up and take the snap there, and he got a low driving kick away. Last time we saw a left-footed punter, I think, was against Maloney, and it gave the Tigers trouble a couple of times just with that opposite spin, with people not having a little trouble holding on to the ball. We'll see if that's a factor tonight.
We'll spot the ball at the 46, 1st and 10, I formation. Nye to the left, in the slot, Sullivan. Duncanson to the right, Thompson sprints left. Looking deep, he's got Timmy Nye, open it, oh, just overthrows Nye at about the 5-yard line.
Time Timmy Nye had single coverage with Roosevelt James, number 41, back defending, and Nye had about a half a step on him, and he was starting to pull away. The ball was just over his outstretched hand. David Thompson, after that first pass, has thrown the ball better, I think, than he did certainly in the first half last week, with kind of laying it up and taking a little bit more time, squaring his shoulders up to throw, planning a little bit better.
2nd down and 10 for the Tigers, as they had gone for it all on the 1st down. Leckie checks in. He'll come right side. Once again, Nye will split left. Thompson sprinting left, looks for Nye, slips one tackle, way back at his 40, now throws downfield. Leckie comes back for it and goes in and out of his hands at the 35-yard line.
Matt Sullivan did a nice job picking a defender off when Thompson reversed field on that. He still looked like he was going to get sacked, and he stepped up in, and Sullivan picked the guy off, gave Thompson time to get rid of the ball. Leckie was coming back. The ball was a little bit high, and it was fired, and Leckie just could not hold on to it.
Thompson doing a good job avoiding a terrific rush by the Blue Dragons, who did show some of their overall team speed on that play.
It's not a real big team, but it's a very, very good defense.
Much like the East Catholic of last year. Piggott left side, and he'll go absolutely nowhere. In on the tackle, 55, Lou Millardo.
And Hand running us basically a sprint draw there, which the Tigers did the last time they had a 3rd and 12. They ran that draw play, and Middletown this time was blitzing on it, and Millardo, who was blitzing, picked up the sprint draw well enough to come out and make the hit. Nice stop, and we'll see what Thompson does with a punt here from the 47.
Number 7, Ron Perry, deep for Middletown.
Thompson, low snap. He'll boot it away. And it'll bounce down at the 15, 17-yard line. So the Blue Dragons will take over. They haven't had good field position here in the first quarter. There's 3:49 to go. And the Hand Tigers lead it 7-0.
There for Thompson. Byron Hughie gave him a lot of pressure coming in from the left side on that.
And Wade hands off to, I believe, Gallagher, and he's hit hard by Sullivan and Leckie at about the 16-yard line, so a loss on the play.
Well, with 2 Gallaghers in the lineup, it's not too bad a guess to figure that a Gallagher is going to get the ball. That one was number 11, Jeff Gallagher, who is a senior. Actually, I think both of them are seniors. Jeff is a tri-captain, 5'8", 170. Mike's a couple of inches shorter and about 30 pounds lighter.
Now, I guess, would that make them twins then?
I'm not sure. With a 30-pound weight difference, they might be just one born early in the year, one born late in the year. Or somebody skipped a grade.
2nd down, 12. Wade sprints out right. Out all by himself is Perry, and he's taken down hard by Kevin Piggott at about the 21-yard line.
Middletown doesn't really throw a lot out of that offense, although I talked to John Scooble this afternoon, and he said that he thought that he had to mix it up a little bit more, maybe throw some on 1st down, because he wasn't sure if his offense was going to be able to control the line of scrimmage well enough to move the ball against Hand. That time he did a little kind of like a half sprint out pass play and worked for a couple of yards.
Brings up a 3rd and 6 for the Blue Dragons. This time they'll send Ron Perry to the left side, and they throw a quick slant at one-on-one coverage with Piggott in and out of the hands of Perry as he crossed the 30-yard line.
Well, that time Hand was playing a zone, and the pass was well underneath the zone. He just like stood up and rifled very quickly before anybody could even start to get into coverage. And again, that's a play that we saw North Branford run a little bit last week, except North Branford ran on a more severe slant. And if that clicks, it's good for, probably would have been good for the 7 or 8 yards that Middletown needed for the 1st down.
And maybe a touchdown, as there was really basically no one there but Kevin Piggott to make the tackle. That would have set up a very interesting play. Skeen will punt, high snap, but he handles it nicely, does not get off a nice kick. And it bounds down at the 43-yard line. And once again, the Tigers will have good field position with 2:11 to go here in the first quarter, and they already lead this one 7-0.
That's a problem that Middletown's had on the first 2 snaps. Even though Kyle Skeen's 6'6", he's had to play basketball to get the ball, which he does, by the way, to get the ball on both of those occasions. And that time he got a ball high off his foot and just kind of tumbled. Looked like one of my punts.
1st and 10 Tigers. Sullivan slot left. High formation. Thompson, quick pitch to Piggott, left side, cuts back nicely, and stumbles forward over the 35 to about the 34. Nice bit of running by Kevin Piggott.
Nice bit of running by Kevin Piggott, and a really nice block on the outside. Jimmy McGoey took a man out and gave Kevin a lane to run in, and when Piggott gets that kind of room, he knows how to take advantage of it.
We'll give Piggott 8 yards on the carry. Bring up a 2nd and 2 for the Tigers. Tunkinson will go right, Sullivan in the slot left.
And he's got single coverage.
Piggott left side, enough for the 1st down, I believe.
It'll be interesting to see what happens out here, because Scotty Duncanson that time had single coverage on him. He just chose to go for the 1st down, which it got. Now Dunk's coming out and Billy Leckie's coming in. If they throw single coverage on Leckie on this side, I think you can maybe look for somebody to throw long.
First quarter counting down, 1:05 to go. And Billy Leckie comes right
here.
side. Thompson, though, he'll pitch it. And Piggott is hit hard behind the line of scrimmage, in on the hit. number 30, Byron Hughie.
The guy who made that play, though, was Teddy Hayes, number 21, because Bobby Hughes was supposed to come out and pull on him. I'm sorry, Justin Murphy, rather, 66, was supposed to come out and pull on him, and Hayes just stood him up, shed him off, and got right into the flow of the play, and by turning it back inside, limited it to about a 1.5-yard loss.
Scoreboard says 2nd and 12. We'll call it 2nd and 11. And Sullivan splits out right, comes in motion. Thompson sprints right, looking to run all the way, but he'll be dragged down. And in on the tackle, number 62, Mike Gilbert.
And again, Teddy Hughes was there, number 21. He was the guy, or Teddy Hayes, rather, was the guy who made the play on that once again, along with Gilbert, coming in and just going right through blockers. He's another one who's not exactly what you'd call real big at 5'11", 180, a senior, but he's done a real nice job.
So that's the end of the first quarter. And Tigers leading the Middletown Blue Dragons by a score of 7-0.
Look at the primary tackler. I can see something else, too.
3rd down, long 20 for the Tigers. Shotgun for the first time. Over the middle, Nye goes up for it. Defended nicely on the play by Byron Hughie.
And also in there again was Mike Gilbert. That time the Tigers tried to take advantage of Timmy Nye's height. Thompson kind of threw a reasonably high pass, figuring that Nye could go up over the defense and maybe get some yards. It didn't work.
Basically, Thompson probably would have been a little bit better off eating that, as he did throw it into quite a few Blue Dragon defenders. Thompson will boot it, looks to angle it left side, and it goes out of bounds. We'll have to see where they mark it.
Should be around the 18. That was a clumsy spot.
The 14-yard line, as they gave the Tigers a break. And we'll mark it at about the 14-yard line.
Okay. You punted from the 42, so not a bad coffin corner kick out of it. You'd like them to go a little bit deeper than that if you can, but he had the idea anyway.
Second quarter action from the Madison Surf Club. Chris Wallach with Hal Levy. And once again, Blue Dragons starting deep in their own end. And a slant pattern this time to Perry is complete. Higgin will sort of take him down at
That's
about the
15.
31.
That's 15 more.
And I don't know, was that...
Timmy Nye was definitely a late hit on that. The whistle had blown because there was a kind of a quick whistle, but he was stood up. The officials blew the whistle, and Nye came in after. I don't know if he didn't hear the whistle. I would assume that that's what happened.
Wade throwing a nice ball to Perry, and we see what Perry can do in the open field. A few nice jukes, and this one is going to turn into an extremely long gain, as the ball was resting at the 14 when the play began, and they've marked it up now to the 47-yard line.
And that's just one of those unfortunate situations. I don't think anybody by any stretch of the imagination could ever say that Timmy Nye's a dirty football player. I think that was just a situation that he was a little intense and didn't hear the whistle, because everybody else had pretty much stopped and he was still coming in.
1st and 10. In motion, that's 31, Tony Rankins.
There's a flag on the play.
He wasn't the only one in motion. Steve Pillarella missed the snap count. He was pulling from left to right, missed the snap count, number 54, and that's going to cost Middletown 5, I would have a tendency. Oh, now what are we doing? We're calling it the other way. The officials missed that too. There's no question that Pillarella was in motion. I'm not sure what happened there unless they said that hand had encroached before that.
So I believe for the first time tonight, Middletown will be inside hand territory with the ball resting at about the 48-yard line. 10 minutes and change to go. First half action. The number 2 and the number 7 ranked teams in the state. Wade will hand the ball off to number 40, Jay Robinson, and he'll slip down for a loss of about a yard.
And that's the second time a Blue Dragon running back has slipped trying to make a cut. The first time it was very costly because it resulted in a fumble, which hand recovered. This one, it just basically cost Jay Robinson a yard's worth of rushing.
We haven't had any rain lately, have we? Or have I been pulling a Rip Van Winkle for the last week?
I don't know. Weather forecast said it was supposed to. I brought a raincoat along, but thus far I haven't seen. It's a beautiful night. If they're all like this, I'll be very happy, Chris.
Wade, he'll sprint left, has a man open, throws it short and incomplete. Intended for
Chris Lipscomb, number 80.
number 80, Chris Lipscomb.
What they're running is almost an illegal pass pattern. Very close, because they're running a pick play, more or less. It's a timing pattern with the outside guy cutting out and then the underneath guy cutting off him and going upfield. That's the first time that worked when Perry came back across the middle. That time, again, Lipscomb was open on the play. The ball was a tad underthrown, and he couldn't make the diving catch.
3rd down 6 for the Blue Dragons.
It's a pass pattern, by the way, the pros run a lot of.
Tony Rankins once again in motion. Wade, he likes to go left. He's looking deep. And Sullivan knocks it out of bounds at about the 15, bringing up a 4th down situation for the Dragons and a punting situation.
I tell you, Wade aired that ball out well. Both the receivers on that side ran square outs just as they had in the past, but then they both turned it up. Matt Sullivan, playing basically long center field on that, was the only guy within 5 yards of the ball, made a nice job of knocking it out of bounds. But Wade fired it long.
And for a team that doesn't pass the ball that much, Wade has shown a nice arm, some good foot speed, and his receivers are more than capable. And the boot is a beauty. Drives Thompson back to about the 5. He fumbles the ball.
Middletown's got it.
And we're not sure who is pounced.
Touchback.
Oh, the official is saying now that Thompson touched the ball in the end zone, and because as soon as the ball crosses the plane of the goal line, it's dead. Hand gets a touchback. That's one of those new Federation rules that if the ball goes into the end zone on the impetus of the kicking team, and this is either on kickoffs or punts, it's an automatic touchback. The ball is dead. Thompson just simply lost track of where the heck he was. He should have gotten out of the way of that ball, because anytime inside the 10-yard line, you don't want to touch it anyway. But that's what the rule is. It's a Federation rule, which I believe is new in Connecticut this year, because Connecticut has gone to totally Federation rules. And like some of the rules in baseball, it's one of those things I'm not real sure I like. And I know Middletown doesn't right now.
Tigers come out I formation. Have to call it a bit of a lucky break for them. Take it straight up the middle. They may give them one on the play. Hal, on that previous play, it had appeared to me that Thompson may have touched the ball at about the 4-yard line, though. He didn't touch the ball first inside the end zone.
No, the soccer line messed me up. But even though he touches it there, it's the impetus of the ball and whether you have control of it. In other words, it's the difference between like a muff and a fumble in the pros. Okay, they don't call it a muff and a fumble here. What they say is the impetus of the kick. The impetus of the kick is what brought the ball into the end zone rather than Thompson fumbling it into the end zone. It's a judgment call by the official. It was probably the right call as far as that goes.
2nd down 10. Thompson sprints out. Get it out of the hands of Leckie at about the 28. Brings up a 3rd down situation for the Tigers.
And he had Perry over there covering on that play. And he kind of tried to throw it through Perry's hands, and he threw it through Leckie's hands also. You know, as far as interpreting the rule is concerned on that play, the officials interpreted it correctly. I lost track of where, because of the soccer line, which is at the 7-yard line, I lost track of the fact that he was actually in the end zone when he fumbled the ball. But as far as that goes, they did interpret it correctly.
Tigers come out I formation, 3rd
Shotgun.
And shotgun formation, and it's short. Single coverage for Sullivan on the right side. If the pass had been there, but it was short of the needed yardage for the 1st down.
Yeah, he just kind of underthrew him. I think he was aware of the fact that there was a defensive back behind Sullivan. He didn't want to throw it high where it could be picked off, and as a result, he threw it too low.
And the defense for Middletown doing a pretty good job of pressuring Thompson here in the 1st half.
He hasn't had a whole lot of offense, period.
Thompson inside his own 10.
Perry and Robinson deep for Middletown. Thompson the punt.
Punt is almost blocked.
But it turned out to be a pretty nice one.
And will be fielded at the 32-yard line by Jay Robinson. And he's taken down on the play. Number 74, I think that's Kevin Hughes, who isn't on the roster.
For hand, he is not on your program.
But I believe it's Kevin Hughes.
What happened on that play was Middletown blocker was right there waiting to block Hughes. He had to back off because he knew if he hit him it was going to be a clip. and he stood right up on the play and did not clip, but as a result, Hughes was able to make the tackle on that. That, by the way, was 47 yards in the air on the punt.
And the give is straight ahead. That's Jeff Gallagher. And he'll take the ball up to about the 43-yard line and pick up a
Jeff Gallagher, the ball carrier,
2nd and 8 for the Blue Dragons.
Simmons. Gain of 2, it'll be 2nd
Blue
and 8.
Dragons, interesting name.
Weird name. For somebody who grew up in Middletown, Blue Dragons doesn't connote anything. That's Enrico Fermi. Doesn't have anything to do with Middletown at all. There's Tigers and Wildcats in Middletown, no Dragons.
Well, there is some blue in their uniform, so we'll go with that. Split backs now in motion is one of the Gallagher brothers. Throw in pretty deep. Intended for him, we're not sure, as both number 40 and 41, Roosevelt James and Jay Robinson were both out there.
Roosevelt James was the guy who had his hands on the ball. That hit him in a bad spot, which was right in the hands because he was open. Again, they're running those crossing and pick type patterns, and the hand defensive backs seem to be having a lot of trouble figuring out who they're supposed to be with. That's something that they're going to have to straighten out very quickly, because if they don't, it's going to cost them some points.
And Dennis Wade likes to sprint left when he passes the ball. In motion once again, one of the Gallaghers, and that's number 11, Jeff Gallagher, the ball carrier. Simmons on the stop.
Dennis just got a hand on him on around the ankle. That was basically a quick draw play, set up by the fact that they'd thrown a couple of passes. That time, Dragons decided they were going to try to get back to what the wing T is supposed to do, which is basically to play deceptive, power, running football. And it worked nicely that time, but not nicely enough.
So on a 4th and 5, Blue Dragons will be forced to punt. Pickett and Thompson deep. And this one will be fielded by Thompson at the 15. Tries to come to the left side. It's covered beautifully by the Blue Dragons. And Thompson taken down at about the 15-yard line.
There were 7 Middletown players on that pile. There were only 4 guys, including the punter, Kyle Skeen, who were not involved in the tackle. That's not bad tackling.
$7:15 to go in the first half. 7-0, the Hand Tigers over the Blue Dragons of Middletown. Tigers come out with Sullivan in the slot right. Duncanson to the left side. Thompson gives the ball to Pickett over the right side. Up over the 16 to about the 17-yard line. Pick up a couple for Kevin Pickett, who will be looking to resume his 100-yard games once again this evening with his small scheme broken last week with only 94 against North Branford.
Right. Duke Speller in on the tackle on that play, along with Byron Hughey and Mike Gilbert. Again, Middletown doing some gang tackling.
Gary Beeson now into the ball game at tight end. This time Pickett will try left side once again. It'll be a short gain for the Tigers. We'll call it 1. It'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
He spun out of the grasp that time of Mike Gilbert, but there were enough people there to make the job. This defense Middletown has is very reminiscent of Hand's defense 2 years ago, which wasn't exactly huge, but played that same 4-4 and always gang tackle.
3rd down, 7. Do you think Thompson will dare put it up here, Hal?
I think he kind of has to.
Okay, well this time he'll go left side and Pickett. Tigers will punt it away on a 4th down. 5 minutes and 40 seconds and counting here in the first half of football.
It's getting to be a little punting duel here between Thompson and Skeen. Hand's going to have to figure out some way to start to break Kevin Pickett loose, because if they don't do that, the Tigers are going to be in a situation of having to rely on the pass. Middletown's going to be able to sit on it. This is the first defense we've seen this year that's really stuffed Pickett this way, though.
Ronnie Perry and Jay Robinson drop deep. Thompson end over end, fielded about the 36. Left side, trying to set up a wall, cuts back inside. Big hole down the left side.
He's gone.
Go all the way. 20, 15, 10, 5.
He didn't go all the way.
David Thompson showing some great speed. Got over there to to make the tackle inside the 5.
That surprised me because I didn't think David was going to catch Robinson from behind either. And
Robinson obviously ran out of gas down near his own goal line, but a big defensive play by David Thompson. And now that tough, stingy hand defense will really have their work cut out for them. First and goal from the hand forward.
This time, the Middletown special teams so far are outplaying the hand special teams in terms of all phases at this point in the ballgame. Thompson banged another one. That was 40-plus yards, and it got returned just as far. Fumble
on the snap.
I think Wade fell on it.
Dennis Wade, number 3, Middletown quarterback.
I keep on calling him Butch Wade for some reason or another. But Dennis Wade on that particular play just had a little trouble getting the snap. He was going to run the quarterback sneak right up the gut and started to go and forgot the football.
Second down goal. 4.5 to go first half. Blue Dragons looking to get on the board. They trail 7-0. Dennis Wade barks out the signals, and the give is to Gallagher, and he's hit hard by Sullivan and Pegnataro. No gain on the play.
Matt Sullivan blitzing on the play, came through. He stopped him actually for a yard loss. Play before that, by the way, Kyle Skeen came kind of puffing off the field. Almost looked like he was having a little bit of trouble running properly. That's something to watch for Middletown because he's not only a punter, but he's also an integral part of the offense at tight end. And he's still on the sideline now 2 plays later.
It'll be third down and goal. Ball resting just about the 5-yard line. Hold to Gallagher as Jeff and Mike. Straight behind, and that's Mike in motion. Wade will sprint left. Now he pitches, and the ball will go out of bounds. Once again, there will be a loss on the play, I believe, as the referee's standing at about the 6-yard line.
I'm a little surprised he pitched on that play because I thought he had maybe a shot to go into the end zone on his own if he cut it up quickly enough, which he looked like he was starting to do. He looked like he had enough help blocking-wise to do it. I think he was just trying to make sure. I think he knew Gallagher could get in, and he maybe really thought he could get in. Except I don't know if Gallagher was ready for the pitch either. He looked like he was a little surprised to see the ball come.
Well, in 3 plays, the Blue Dragons have gone backwards 2 yards, brings up a 4th down situation. 6 yards to go for the touchdown, and they'll call timeout and talk about it. So with 3:37 to go here in the first half, it's the Hand Tigers 7 and the Middletown Blue Dragons. Now the ball game for the Blue Dragons. 4th and goal from the 6. Wade will sprint right, being pursued. That's nice. Ciotti, they're all there. He dumps the ball off inside the 10 to one of the Gallaghers, and he's taken out of bounds hard. David Thompson on the tackle took Mike Gallagher out of bounds short of the goal line, and on downs the ball will turn over, and that stingy hand defense really showing what they're made of here.
Guess what? David Thompson made a major league hit on that play. He crushed Gallagher to keep him out of the end zone. Hand defensively did a great job with a blitz on that. I don't know if it's going to come back to haunt Middletown because especially based off his kickoff, but certainly off his performance this year, the Morello, that's a chip shot field goal for him there. To come up empty after getting that great punt return, I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt John Scuba later.
Well, we'll have to see. Tigers, they're going to talk about things here with 3:26 to go in the first half. 1-yard line, and what we've seen in the past is Thompson trying to sneak the ball forward, give the Tigers some breathing room, puts his mouthpiece in, and that's exactly what he does. Keeps it, goes forward for a couple of yards.
He just rode the offensive line surge and got himself a couple, 3 yards there. You would like to get into a position there where at least you're not making your handoff in the end zone before you start messing around with handing the ball away down there, especially against the Middletown defense that's been very, very stingy against the run so far tonight.
Second down. They'll give Thompson only 1 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Ball resting just a bit past the 2-yard line. Thompson this time will try the right side. He'll lunge forward for, I think, about 2 on the play here.
He's out close to the 5-yard line. At this point, maybe you think about that you can hand off to somebody. at least it gives you an opportunity to get out of the shadow of the goalpost before you're doing something like that. At this point also, the Tigers would be very, very content, I think, to pick up a first down someplace along the line right here and let the clock run down on the first half, because we're approaching just over 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go right now.
And the question is Will Thompson put it up in the air when 3rd and 6 down here? He won't. He'll give to Piggott. He'll be taken down behind the line of scrimmage. And the Tigers will have to punt the ball away with 2:05 to go, and it should be superb field position for the Blue Dragons.
Right, number 56 is Jay Campbell. He's listed in the program as Wendell, but he goes by Jay. Made the hit in the backfield there, and now we're going to have to see Thompson bang the Tigers out of trouble again with another punt.
And the Blue Dragons, they've done a good job rushing the punts of Thompson.
Which I think they're going to do right here.
So we'll have to watch, see what happens here. Thompson gets it away just in time. And the ball bounced down at the 35, goes off of the Blue Dragon punt returner. And I believe that's Perry, number 7.
Yes.
But Perry covered the ball at about the 34. So great field position, actually, 34-yard line, minute 34 to go, and a chance for the Blue Dragons to tie things up, maybe perhaps take a lead.
Certainly.
Into the locker room.
1st and 10, Middletown from the hand, 34.
And again, Middletown's punt rush has been just tremendous. They're not giving Thompson any kind of time back there at all, and he was lucky to get that one off.
And the give on the fake, actually. They're going to go deep. Out there all by himself. That's Skeen, I believe, and Piggott takes him down, but it's too late as Skeen was able to get into the end zone. And a big play on 1st down for the Blue Dragons.
All right, that time I think he faked both you and I out, because we were both looking at Gallagher cutting over to the left side, and Wade still had the ball. He got Skeen alone with single coverage. Skeen is 6'6", and Piggott's about 5'11" or so, and the difference in size was there. Wade just lofted it into his hands, and Skeen took it into the end zone.
And it looks like the Blue Dragons will go for 1 here. And that's number 45, Sal Morello.
Yes, it's Morello. And
Wade puts it down, and the kick is good. So at a minute 12 to go here in the first half. The state's number 2 ranked team, the Hand Tigers, 7. And the state's number 7 ranked team, the Middletown Blue Dragons, 7. And Kevin Piggott dropped deep, standing at about their own 10.
Lucky and Piggott deep for hand.
And the ball goes out of bounds inside the 20. But a flag on the play may have been offsides on the Blue Dragons.
David Bunch did the kicking off that time, and yes, it is going to be offside against Middletown. Middletown did come up with the touchdown eventually after Hand had stopped the Blue Dragons on that goal line stand, but you have to sit there and say to yourself, if you're John Scooble, maybe I should have kicked the field goal.
You had mentioned that earlier during one of the timeouts, and perhaps if he had, 10-7 could possibly be the score here.
Middletown penalized 5 yards back to its 35.
They don't pay offs on wouldas and couldas or shouldas, so right now we sit with a 7-7 tie.
Not to put you on the spot, Hal, but have the Blue Dragons been kicking field goals thus far?
I don't know, to be very honest. You did put me on the spot, and I choked, because that was one thing I forgot to ask, was how many he had kicked this year, as far as that's concerned. I would have a tendency to guess not too many.
Well, we won't hold it against you because you know everything else. Every other stat you have with that one, so we won't hold it against you. Piggott over the 35 to about the 36-yard line.
Number 43, Rick Walker, was the guy who made the stop on that play. He kind of grabbed an ankle on Piggott when it looked like Piggott might have a hole and could repeat what he did last week against North Branford, which was instill some instant life back into the Tigers after an opponent had scored a touchdown. Piggott ran one back, ran the next kickoff back for a TD.
Tigers with under a minute to work with here.
Going shotgun and going to try to take the lead.
They're not happy with the 7-7 tie. Shotgun formation. Thompson to Piggott out of the backfield. He stumbles down and falls forward to about the 42-yard line.
It was an inside screen pass, basically playing against a very deep zone, double zone there for Middletown. And I think it's more or less to kind of make the linebackers play a little bit more honest in terms of how they cover.
Simmons now in at the fullback position. And out to the sideline. Intended for Sullivan, falls incomplete, and the clock stops. 27 seconds left in the first half.
And that was not a well-thrown ball at all. Again, you sit there and say, well, if they're doing this, you'll wonder if they're kind of trying to lure Middletown in a little bit and try to set up something deep.
Middletown freshmen beat the hand freshmen this Friday afternoon, 22-6, up at Woodrow Wilson High School field, the old Woodrow Wilson High School field, which is now a junior high. Thompson doesn't get anything on it. It's intended for Nye, and it's knocked down by Roosevelt James.
Right, and Avery Askew, number 23, was also back there on that play. Askew and Perry are both playing about 25 yards off the line of scrimmage, just basically floating free safeties to prevent exactly that kind of thing. Now Hand sets up in a situation, 19 seconds to go at its own 43, going to drop back into punt formation. You wonder, although Thompson is back his full 12 yards, you wonder if he's actually going to kick. He's actually inside that right now.
Thompson looks, takes his time, now boots it, and almost in there with a hand was one of the Blue Dragons. Perry fields the ball at the 15, 20, and he'll be taken down at about the 20-yard line. Mike Ciotti in on the tackle, along with Kevin Hughes. Ash Edwards also over there.
The official started to reach in his pocket because he thought maybe Kevin Hughes was going to get a face mask, but Kevin did a nice job of wrapping his hand around behind so that just maybe his elbow was across the front of the helmet, and he did not get called on the face mask on that.
6 seconds to go in the first half.
And the clock is running, so I don't think we're going to get a playoff here.
And they come out of the huddle quite slowly. Of course, Middletown being here at the Surf Cove, they're probably pretty content to go to the locker room with a score of 7-7 after being held scoreless on 4 plays from the 4-yard line.
All right, and so far we've seen a pretty good defensive struggle. Both teams playing much better defensively than they are offensively.
So they'll head to the locker room with the score, the Hand Tigers 7 and the Middletown Blue Dragons 7. Just about set for second half action from the Madison Surf Club. Chris Wallach with Hal Levy as David Thompson gets set to boot. He'll hit it from the 40. And will be taken by Gallagher. He slips down once again to 17. Tries to run right, gets by a few tacklers.
Receives the kickoff for
And
Middletown.
taken out of bounds up close to the 20.
Across the 20, around the 24-yard line. Matt Sullivan finally, along with John Weisbrook, knocked him out of bounds on the play. Came all the way across the field on that.
Spot the ball at about the 24. First and 10. Opening seconds of the second half. And right side powering forward. And that's one of the Gallaghers.
Jeff, number 11.
Jeff, number 11.
Rob
And he'll pick up
Technico on the tackle for
about
Hand. Gain of
6.
5. It'll be second and 5 from the 29.
I was just basically getting back to wing tee football and what it's supposed to do. See if Middletown decides that it's going to try to get that ground attack going this half. I did it. Blue Dragons didn't have a whole lot of success running the ball in the first half.
Second and 4. Well, they're having more success here. Is up close to a first down is number 40, Jay Robinson.
And that was your classic crossbuck out of that wing tee offense. Just basically running the trap to the opposite side, the misdirection play, and very close to the first down. I would have a tendency to guess that it's probably going to be good for the first down.
First half statistics. Not much offense for the most part. 59 total yards for the Tigers and 69 for the Blue Dragons. Hand had but 15 yards rushing in the first half, 44 passing. Thompson 2 for 10. On the other side, the Blue Dragons, 24 of it on the ground, 45 in the air, and Wade 3 for 6. Now for the first, once again a slant pattern, and Ron Perry makes the reception at about the 40, flag down on the play.
I think we're going to call pass interference on David Thompson. Yep, that's what the call is going to be. Thompson hit him before he caught the ball, and I believe that what you're going to see here is going to be it's only a 5-yard penalty, but it's an automatic first down. No, they're marking it off 15 yards. I thought that was a 5-yard and a first down. I guess it's a 15.
Ball resting at about the 48-yard line. First down and 10. A couple minutes into this third quarter here. Middletown splits them wide, one to the right, one to the left. And it gives to Gallagher. Big hole in the middle. 30, 25, turning it out. Pass Beeson, pass Piggott for the touchdown. Blue Dragons on a beautiful run.
And that time, a couple of hand people looking the wrong way. Gallagher broke it up over the middle, and Gallagher, no flags on the play. Gallagher goes 51 yards for the touchdown. And the screaming you're going to hear in the background, we have two Middletown High coaches who are up here spotting on this side, and they're getting a little enthusiastic when they see one of their kids making a good play.
10:21 to go here in the third quarter, and the Blue Dragons have struck quickly here in the second half. They'll try for the point after. Number 45 to do the kicking. Sal Morello, his boot, it's a high one. It's through the uprights. So the Tigers are stunned here early in the second half. It is now the Blue Dragons of Middletown 14 and the Han Tigers 7.
Chris, that's the second long touchdown for Middletown. After Han got on the scoreboard at 7:28 of the first quarter and a 1-yard run by Kevin Piggott, after the Tigers recovered a fumble, Middletown came back. Kyle Skeen caught a 34-yard pass from Wade. Morello's kick tied it up, and then now a 51-yard run by Gallagher.
Piggott at the 22, cuts back right side, over the 30, big hole up the middle, over the 40, and up to the 43. So the Tigers are looking to get their second half offense in gear here. They trail by 7 as the Blue Dragons ran the ball up the throat to the Tigers on their first possession.
All right, and then McWilliams was in on the tackle on that play, but that's the first decent run that Kevin Piggott has really had in any way, shape, or form tonight, either on a kick or from scrimmage. Middletown held Piggott to 18 yards in the first half. Han wound up with 15 net yards on the ground. Thompson was sacked for -3.
See what the Tigers can do here. 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. Piggott right side up to about the 47-yard line.
And there was a heck of a collision right there. And we have the officials waving off a timeout. There's an injury. Kevin Piggott is the one who's hurt. Kevin ran real hard on that play. Did a good spin, picked up a couple of extra yards, but he's hurt right now. He's definitely limping, and he's not in real good shape, and that is bad news for the Tigers. Piggott limped off on that play. I'm trying to figure out if it's an ankle or if it's just a cramp. We'll know in a few minutes. If he's back in the lineup, it's a cramp.
2nd and 6. Metz replaces him. Thompson looking for Nye across the middle, has him. And Nye slips away from 2 or 3 tacklers, gets over the 40. Inside the 35, I'm looking for a whistle with 2 or 3 tacklers. Had a hold of Nye, he slips away, picks up an extra 7 or 8 yards.
In the NFL, that's a whistle. There's no question. That's what you call in the grasp with the quarterback. But they did not call it. Timmy Nye kept fighting, and the defender there, Roosevelt James, eventually slipped off, and Timmy Nye just used that great strength he has to pick up an extra 10 yards on the play.
You do not see Piggott yet. 1st and 10. Thompson sprints right, looking for Leckie on the out. In and out of his hands at the 30.
Steve Sekula jumping up and down a little bit on the sideline, had a couple of things to say to Leckie on the way back towards the huddle. I don't know if he was calling a play or if he was a little upset with something that he saw.
A couple of the passes to Leckie have been a little bit high, and they've gone through the hands of Leckie. Thompson throws that ball so hard that when they're up high, they're hard to bring down. Thompson sprints right. This time he'll keep the ball. Now he'll look to pass. Leckie throws it short. He's bumped by Perry, but there are no flags down. Thompson disguising it as a run all the way, then pulled up the pass. Leckie tried to slip deep, and the pass was thrown short by Thompson.
All right, Teddy Hayes was pursuing very, very strongly on the play. Thompson tried to throw on the dead run, and he didn't do a real good job of it. Looking down on the sidelines here, Dr. Sclair is working on Kevin Piggott's left ankle, so it's right now got to be questionable as to whether or not he's going to come back into the lineup.
3rd down 10. Bryce still the fullback. Metz in there. It gives to Metz, right side, over to 35, and taken down by number 30. And that's Byron Hughie. And short of the 30, about the 31-yard line.
And Hand's basically in 4-down territory right here, but with a 4th and a long 5 to go. You know, you got to sit here and say you're not quite really sure what's going on. And the Tigers aren't sure either. They're switching some people around here. They may have sent the punt team out.
Thompson, he'll drop back to punt. Looking to angle it to the sidelines, no doubt, but now he'll run. 35. And Thompson will be taken down. Way short of the 1st down at about the 33. And the Tigers did not do a very good job, Hal, of disguising that.
No, I think everybody in the ballpark had a pretty good idea of what was going on in terms of the fake there. There was a fumble on the play, but the ball had already been whistled dead. Tigers recovered it for what would have been a 1st down, but the official said the ball had already been down. So Middletown takes it over. At that point, you almost figure, well, why not just go shotgun and put it up and see what happens? But Tigers decided to try to get a little bit fancy, and that time it didn't work.
Blue Dragons take over 1st and 10 from the 32. Under 8 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. And the give is to Gallagher. All we have to do is call Gallagher and then look for the number. It's 11, so that'll make it Jeff Gallagher.
Billy Leckie in on the tackle on that play.
Gain of 5, it'll be 3rd and 5, 2nd and 5.
That's been a nice play for Middletown. Middletown has not, in the second half here, had any 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations. Blue Dragons been picking up good yardage on 1st down. That, of course, opens up a lot of possibilities for Middletown.
They break the huddle. 2nd down is a short 5 yards. And they give us to Gallagher. Spins up over the 40. Tries to slip away from Thompson. Can't do it. And Sullivan over there to help take him down.
And he's got a 1st down.
He picked up a 1st down at the 45. Right up the heart of the Tiger defense. Blue Dragons.
Again, those quick hitters and that basically the deception of the wing tee is doing a very, very nice job.
This is what we said at halftime. Right, north, south. Straight up, down.
Middletown coaches are here saying basically what we said at halftime: run north-south, run off tackle. Don't be worried about doing a lot of anything
and
else.
There's a fumble on the play, but it should be covered. That was number 40, Jay Robinson. Didn't get the handoff from Wade, but he recovers his own fumble. Loss on the play.
Took the ball down on his hip. Took the ball down on his hip and tried to run before he had it, and had to come back and eventually pick it up. Billy Leckie also down right now on the sideline. We see Billy and Tony Ricciardi is down there trying to massage out a cramp in Leckie's legs. So far now there's 2 Tigers who having a little bit of an injury problem right now.
2nd and 13. Motion. Wade. He's looking long. And Wiesbrock knocks the ball away. Intended receiver. Number 40, Jay Robinson.
That time Wade motioned Robinson deeper on that play. It was supposed to be a short pattern. Wade motioned him deeper and then nearly hit him. Wiesbrock it back, made a nice bat away of the ball.
Wiesbrock in taking Kevin Piggott's place as we await his return. We're not sure if he will return. They're still working on him out on the sidelines. 3rd down, 13, straight drop. Looks to be setting up some sort of screen. Gets away from 4-hand tackler Josh Edwards. In on the tackle as Wade slips down at the 42, and a punting situation for the Blue Dragons.
That was a broken play. I think that Middletown had set up a screen, and somebody smelled it out for the Tigers. Was over there playing defense. I didn't catch a number. I'm not sure who it was, but got into the screen pattern. And then Wade started looking around. He scrambled. They had 4 people on him. He got away from them, but then he kind of slipped down and sort of did your basic hook slide.
Skeen, he'll put the ball away. And And he hits another good one. It takes Thompson back to the 15. Thompson running left. Can't get away from Blue Dragon tackler Chris McWilliams down on the coverage. And as you mentioned earlier, how good special teams work for the Blue Dragons.
Middletown has outstanding speed and uses it very, very well on the special teams. You know, Skeen's punt that time was 44 yards, and there were 5 Middletown players right there when Thompson caught the ball.
5:22 to go, third quarter. Tigers have the ball at about the 15. Metz, he'll run left side, hit hard. Picks up maybe 2 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 8.
Making Duke Speller was the guy who made the big hit, number 83 on that tackle. Again, there's a situation here. You know, Metz just so far doesn't have the experience that Kevin Piggott does in terms of playing time on a varsity level. He's going to pick it up in a hurry, and that was one experience I don't think he wants to have too many of, getting hit like that.
2nd down 8 for the Tigers. It was Skeen who put the Tigers back here on a nice punt. Thompson taken down at about the 10-yard line.
Teddy Hayes did a great job that time. Hand is basically double-teaming the rushing end. They're keeping both backs in to double-team the rushing end. That time, Hayes kind of shoved one guy to the left, one guy to the right, broke right between them, and nailed David Thompson.
And we see Kevin Piggott back in the ball game. Timmy Nye also in, replacing Peter Metz and Gary Beeson. 3rd and 15 for the Tigers. The ball resting at about the 10. Scott Duncanson comes out to the left side, Sullivan right.
Watch the back out of the back.
Piggott in the
Quick kick.
That's a quick kick by Thompson, and he boots up beauty, though. It doesn't take a great hand roll, but not bad. It'll go down at about the 37-yard line. Larry Ciotti has been doing that for years. Quick kick on the 3rd down.
Right, it's the first time Hand has pulled it off this year that I can recall. It worked very, very well from, in terms certainly of field position. You're talking about 57 yards, 58 yards worth of field position for the Tigers. And now what Hand's going to do is to try to force a big play defensively in order to get back into this ballgame.
14-7 if you've just joined us. It's the Middletown Blue Dragons ahead of the Hand Tigers. And on the slant once again, intended for Perry, and Perry looking for some sort of flag on the play.
What happened was Perry got held up right at the line of scrimmage by the linebacker. He was supposed to go straight outside. He got held up quickly, and then he started to kind of look inside, and the ball by that time was already thrown outside. It's purely a timing pattern, and the Tigers did a nice job that time of disrupting the timing and made the play look very, very sloppy.
Timmy Wynowski was the Hand defenseman over there. Dragons break the huddle, come to the line. Jeff Gallagher, he'll get the call, and he'll fall forward over the 40 to about the 42.
Pegnataro made the hit for Hand. Tigers had a shot at him in the backfield, but they didn't really. Jim McGoey kind of got a piece of him, slowed him down a little bit, but couldn't wrap him up for a loss, which it looked like he might have done on the play.
Big play for the Tiger defense here, 3rd down 6. They'd like to get the ball back here as quickly as possible. 3rd quarter winding down, 2.5 minutes to go. And Way sprints right. Looked like he was looking to come back.
He has the
left.
first down easily.
Lots of running room, slips past a couple tacklers. Piggott finally takes him out of bounds, but not before Wade had crossed the 40-yard line inside Hand territory to about the 39-yard line.
And that was the time Hand got a pretty good rush. They had a blitz on. Wade sidestepped and slithered a little bit, and all of a sudden everything opened up in the middle for him, and boom, he goes through for 20 yards.
Dennis Wade showing some great foot speed and some nice moves, evading a swarm of Hand tacklers in the backfield and downfield for that matter.
Tigers are going to have to produce quickly defensively here.
1st and 10. It's Jeff Gallagher. Takes the ball down to about the 36-yard line.
Ash Edwards, number 52, getting up off the bottom of the pile on that play. Gain of 3. This is at a point where the Tigers just have to stop giving up yards. Approaching 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter, with Middletown already in front 14-7. Another touchdown would make Hand have a long, long uphill road to fight to get back into this ball game.
2nd and 7.
We got it. We got it. We got it.
And a play goes left. Thompson drags him out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. The ball carrier was Tony Rankins, whose name we haven't called very often this evening.
Right, he's a new addition to the backfield back there at this point. Middletown coaches thought on that play that they had it. They're saying here, we've got it, we've got it, we've got it. Rob Pegnataro pursuing on the play, and then David Thompson came up to finally put the stop on him after a gain of 3, set up a 3rd and 4.
And there was some clear sailing down the left side had Rankin eluded David Thompson tackle.
Definitely.
3rd down. Scoreboard says 5. It's more like a long 4. Wade will sprint right, looking deep. Eludes Bobby Hughes, got running room. Ash Edwards coming up and nigh. And Wade runs out of bounds at about the 22-yard line, but to go for a 1st down.
And once again, he shows not only elusiveness, but real good quickness in getting to the outside once he eludes that initial pass rush. That time, Hand didn't come as hard on him, but, you know, Wade was there running against a couple of big linemen, and it wasn't too much of a foot race for him to get to the outside.
Ball resting at about the 22, 1st and 10, minute 40 to go, third quarter, 14-7. Middletown leads in a battle of unbeatens here at the Madison Surf Club. Chris Wallach with Al Levy. Wade hands off. Jeff Gallagher taken down by Justin Murphy at the line of scrimmage, falls forward and maybe for 1, called 2nd down 9.
Another big key on that play was Dennis Simmons. Dennis stood his blocker straight up in the air and kind of was starting to arm wrestling him just as Gallagher hit the hole, and the result was that part of the tackle was almost made by the back end of one of his own offensive linemen getting pushed into the hole by Simmons. I want to note on the play before that Duke Speller came off the field kind of limping for Middletown. There's some hard hitting going on down there.
This time Wade, he's being pursued, runs right, and a pass is complete to Robinson at about the 15, and once again he slips down.
All right, Robinson is mad at himself because he had a nice running room back to the inside. He was starting to cut past Matt Sullivan, and if he'd made that, he might have scored on that play. And he's a little disturbed with himself that he didn't.
Not sure if it's the overall quickness of this team causing them to slip down, or perhaps it's maybe even the shoes. I haven't seen a Hand player slipping down tonight.
Thus far, we haven't seen Hand having any slippage, but of course, Hand hasn't exactly been in a position where Tigers have gotten that far outside that they had to worry about slipping down.
3rd down, long 4. Wade hit the backfield, but he gets the pitch off. Rankin turns the corner inside the 10. Down to about the 8-yard line. Very close there to the 1st down. Also, the officials have already marked the fact that he does have the 1st down to the 7-yard line. 8-yard line. That's right. Soccer goes out 18 yards, right? That's right on that stripe that you see running across the field. There is the edge of the soccer crease. 11 seconds to go here in the third quarter. 14-7 Middletown. And here they go, left side. Jeff Gallagher gets the ball down inside the 5 to about the 3, and been running right at the heart of the Hand defense, and the Hand defense has not been able to stop them here in the third quarter. And that'll do it in the third quarter, with the Blue Dragons on the doorstep as we get set to start fourth quarter action. And it's the Middletown Blue Dragons leading this one 14-7. Set to go. 2nd down for the Blue Dragons. Ball at about the 2.5-yard line. Gallagher over the left left side, gets down close to the goal line, but appears to be short. Sullivan in on the tackle.
A lot of Middletown players signaling touchdown, but I didn't see anybody in a striped shirt doing it. And the officials say that he is short, and there's a Middletown player injured on the play. 11:42 to go in the fourth quarter. We'll call this timeout. Steve Pellarella, the injured Middletown player, had a cramp.
And Gallagher, the ball carrier, he goes over the right side, in for the touchdown. So the Blue Dragons now lead this one 20-7. And the extra point attempt will be made by Sal Morello. He places the tee down right on the 10-yard line. Tigers in trouble, 11:28 to go, fourth quarter here at the Madison Surf Club. And Morello looking to put his team up 14 by a score of 21-7. Wade is the holder. Morello's boot. It's through the uprights. 21-7. Most of the fourth quarter still to go. And again, Tigers, they got their work cut out for them.
Hey, the Tigers are going to be doing this, whatever coming back they do, without Billy Leckie. He is on the sidelines right now on crutches, talking with Doc Sclair. Billy missed a game earlier in the year with an injury, and it may be a recurrence of the same thing.
Thompson will field this at about the 12, up over the 20, 25. He takes it out to about the 30-yard line where the Tigers can take over. They're down 14 points, 21-7, 11:22 on the clock.
Dwayne Kane, number 51, was in on that play, and he kind of wrecked a lot of havoc. Took out 3 people and then came back in and was fighting to make the tackle when it was finally made. We have a Middletown High timeout here. 11:10 to go, and Can trailing 21-7.
First and 10, Tigers. Shotgun, Thompson. Straight over the middle. That's Nye. Beautiful reception. 45. Up close to midfield. 49-yard line. Tim Nye.
Timmy Knight just wanted that football more than anybody else did. He very simply took it away from defensive backs on that play. Number 33, Bill Coleman, was back there. Number 23, Avery Askew, and he just simply took it away from him.
Tigers not wasting any time. They'll put it right up in the air again. Shotgun Thompson. He'll be taken down from behind at about the 43-yard line. In on the play for Middletown, number 83. William Speller.
Duke Speller, right. Duke.
He goes by the name of Duke.
All right. And he can go by any name he wants to after a play like that.
He's also limping a bit on the play.
He'd come out earlier limping, but he's back in there playing that defensive end.
Wiesbrock now in the ball game. Duncanson splits out wide left. Thompson can't find anybody open. Off 1 foot, throws the ball intended for the Nye at the sideline at about the 45. Ball's incomplete, bring up third and about 15 for the Tigers, and their deep threat, Billy Leckie, out of the game. It sets up a tough situation.
Speller is down, and I think this time for the count, he is rolling around in agony. There was Duke Speller, and he did go off the field, eventually being helped. We'll see what that does to the Middletown defense. Kane is in to take his place.
Third and 15, and Higgett is hit at the line of scrimmage.
Number 21, Teddy Hayes, and that's a name we've mentioned a lot tonight, was a big part of that defense on that play, and they just simply stuffed it. And Hands now sitting with a 4th and 15, and with 10 minutes to go in the ball game, time is going to start to become a factor here very quickly.
Thompson will stand at about his own 30. Ron Perry drops deep, along with Jay Robinson, and Thompson's boot comes down at about the 22. Perry fields it at about the 14, looks to cut back left. Nye had a hand on him, Wynoski over there to take him down at the 17. Also, on the play, Kevin Hughes doing a nice job receiving on special teams. Ash Edwards also over there.
And that time, Nye slowed him down, almost lost him, but just slowed him down enough. And Perry is very, very elusive, so that finally Hand got back there in time to keep it from being a long run.
Jim Wynoski and Kevin Hughes on the tackle for Hand.
I think we're going to look for Middletown here to go back to that off-tackle stuff, the basic stuff that the wing tee is made of. Just try to keep the ball on the ground and grind out some time off the clock.
And as far as time goes, counting down to about 9 minutes to go. Rankin in motion, left side, Gallagher, and a swarm of hand tacklers over there.
And that time, Dennis Simmons caught him from behind and slowed him up enough so that the Tigers could come over and make the stop for a 1-yard loss. That's one of the better defensive plays that Hands had all night in terms of getting some penetration and catching one of the Middletown backs before that speed started to take over.
Loss of 1 on the play, bring up a 2nd and 11. Ash Edwards and Mike Ciotti over there on that last tackle. John Wiesbrock in the ball game, replacing Kevin Piggott. Rankin in motion once again. Spreading right as Wade can't find a receiver. Being pursued by Pegnataro, looks for somebody. Nye misses him at the 20, and Wade, who's done an unbelievable job at eluding tacklers.
Yes, he has. 4 or 5 people, and that time Hand didn't overrun on the play. The Tigers were there. Wade just simply either eluded them or outran them. Finally, Nye had enough on him to knock him out of bounds at that point. I guess Wade took a step out of bounds, even though he continued further upfield. It turned out to be a 6-yard gain, but a kind of a spectacular 6-yard gain at that.
Brings up a 3rd down situation for the Blue Dragons, and the Tigers really have to stop them here with the clock winding down. 8 and change, and a give is to number 21, Ted Hayes, the ball carrier. His first carry of the evening, I believe.
Right, I think it is. Pegnataro and Sullivan finally made the stop, and Hayes was about a step away from breaking that one. But it does bring up a punting situation, although Skeen has banged the ball very, very well tonight for Middletown.
Skeen averaged 36 yards a punt, punting the ball 4 times in the first half. What slight win there is here will be in his face. Sullivan and Thompson deep. Skeen doesn't hit the best one of the night. Tough one to handle. And Thompson back to the 25. And David Thompson not sure exactly whether the ball had touched him, forced a fall on him. And a dangerous situation for the Tigers, but Thompson able to cover the ball at 25.
Smart play for Thompson to do that. And that punt was 58 yards, even though it probably only traveled about half of that in the air. It took a real nice bounce. That time Hand got good penetration, put on a punt rush, probably trying to block it, set up a big play, and he had to force it, but he got that low line drive kick, and it took the skip over Thompson's head.
Simmons in at fullback. Piggott is in the game. Thompson rolls right, blind side. And that's Speller, I believe, who was injured just a bit earlier.
And Duke Speller came back from his injury very nicely on that play. He just came in totally untouched on the backside. Thompson had no idea he was there, and apparently neither did any of the Hand linemen who were supposed to maybe be blocking on the play. Thompson also, in his own defense there, stumbled as he came back from center, and that may have just given Speller the opportunity to catch up to him before Thompson rolled to the outside. That play may not be designed to be blocked on the backside.
2nd and 21, shotgun. Thompson can't find anybody open. Now throws the ball. It's intercepted. Number 41 is Roosevelt James, and he returns the ball to about the 20-yard line.
On that play, he did have Duncanson open deep. Scott Duncanson, I believe. Let me check so that we don't have the Duncanson family mad at me. Yeah, it was Scott. Was open deep on that play. And Thompson had to get rid of the ball, and he underthrew him, and he threw it right into where the coverage was.
Bob Duncanson is nursing an injury. We haven't seen him this evening. Tony Ricciardi, his arm, shoulder getting much better, not in a sling anymore.
He's still on a week-to-week basis, though.
1st and 10, fumble. And Rankin recovers his own fumble at about the 30.
That was kind of a not really well-executed pitch on that play. Maybe one of the few bad plays we've seen Wade come up with. He didn't really throw the ball very well on the pitch, and Rankin had to go back and fall on it for a 10-yard loss.
Speaking of injuries, too, Matt Morgan, an integral part of the hand defense early in the year, playing a lot of linebacker, is no longer playing on the hand team. He suffered a couple different concussions and contusions, and under doctor's orders, he will not play any more football this season, but he's doing a nice job helping out the freshman.
He's helping out with the freshman team right now.
And I'd like to credit him that, because he could very easily just have hung it up and gone home and take it easy, and he's really helping motivate the varsity team and helping out, coaching the defensive line with myself and the linebackers and defensive ends. And big credit to
bringing up a
Matt Morgan.
20.
Pass on that play kind of surprised me. I don't know about you, Chris, but I would think that right here, with the clock winding down, 5 minutes to go in the ball game, that Middletown would be very content to just kind of sit on it, run more time off it. If you get another score, and that's just fine. But why take chances and put it up in that case?
Definitely agree. Now the clock stops, of course, on an incomplete pass. 5:25 showing on the clock. Rankin once again in motion to give us to Gallagher. Hit in the backfield by Edwards, but he slips a couple tackles. Puts a nice juke, and Gary Beeson finally trips him up. And Jeff Gallagher stumbles forward to about the 21-yard line.
And on that play, Matt Sullivan might have had a chance to get at him, but the official, who was where he was supposed to be on the play, got kind of caught up in the middle of it, and he formed a nice pick that Matt couldn't really get around in time to make the hit.
Jeff Gallagher showing extremely quick feet, the quickest feet I've seen on a running back in the 6 games thus far this year. Wade sprints right, looking to seal it up I guess, and it's Speller, Duke Spellers with the completion inside the 10.
And that's good for a first down.
Gary Beeson on the tackle.
Speller was open all the way on that play, and Wade, instead of thinking, well, let's see if we can get the touchdown out of it, decided to take what he had coming to him, which was a first down, laid the ball in there. Speller got the first down, and at this point, you've got to say that there's a whole heck of a lot of nails in the Tigers' coffin.
Middletown showing a very confident offense as they scored on their first possession of the second half, and have continued to drive the ball up and down the field against the Tigers here. But this time, Nye will drag down the ball carrier, Ted Hayes, his second carry of the evening, and a loss on the play.
At this point, Middletown putting in a couple of fresh troops here and there. See number 12, Mike Gallagher, who hasn't carried the ball a whole lot tonight and has a pretty clean jersey, is on in there right now. Obviously, Middletown would like to push it in right here and make it a 28-7 score. If not, you still got to look at the fact that David Thompson hasn't shown a whole lot tonight, but we know what he can do.
And they're taking time off the clock while they're doing it. Gallagher tries to spin away from a couple tacklers. Finally taken down Sullivan, Beeson, and Hughes in on the tackle.
Gain was to about the 6-yard line, but right now the clock really a factor. We're approaching 3 minutes to go in the ball game, and for Hand to stop this, go 90-plus yards, get the ball back and do it again, is starting to get to be a little bit stroppy.
And speaking earlier, you were, Hal, about the possibility of a field goal should they not make it. On third down, we could see a field goal, which would force the Tigers to make 3 scores to win.
I don't think we have to worry about it.
We won't have to worry about it because very quick-footed Jeff Gallagher has taken the ball in for a touchdown and a 27-7 Middletown lead.
And there's a whole lot of people out in the end zone right there who are cheering their Middletown High team on, and cheerleaders over on the side and everything else.
So far, officials haven't thrown any flags because it didn't disrupt anything, but you have to hope that when this ball game is over that nothing does erupt.
Sal Murillo on to try the extra point. Wade is the holder. Snap is good. It's put down beautifully, and the kick is good. So with 2:50 to go here in the ball game, it's the Blue Dragons of Middletown 28 and the home-standing Tigers 7. And the kick with 2:50 to go, fielded by Pickett at the 18, over the 25, over the 30. Tries to run outside, finds some running room, cuts back inside now, over the 40, 45, up to about the 46-yard line, 2:41 to go. The Tigers trail by 21.
Good effort by Kevin Pickett on that. He looked like he was stopped a couple of times, kept churning, and that's a little bit more like the Kevin Pickett we've come to expect in the first 5 weeks of the season. At this point, though, it's a wing and a prayer with clock running with 2.5 minutes to go, and needing 3 scores to get back into this game. You know, miracles have happened, but you can't expect one here.
And with the absence of Bill Leckie, the deep threat, the Tigers really in trouble. Thompson from his own 40 throws the ball out, and ball's out of bounds. Intended for Scott Duncanson.
Askew back there for Middletown, along with number 41, Roosevelt James, who picked off a pass not too long ago to set up that last touchdown. Now it's just a matter of throwing it up and seeing what happens more than anything else. At this point, it's all academic. You just see what you can come up with.
Middletown has taken timeout with 2:19 to go, and the score 28-7. The annual football parents dance is scheduled for Saturday, October the 27th, and that'll be going on from 9 to 1. I know I'll be there. I'm not sure, Hal, will you be there?
That one I haven't planned on particularly. I know that I'm going to be going to at least one high school game that day, and I'm not sure what else that night.
Well, you have such a tough schedule that I can understand you not having the time to get there. I will be there. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you'll go too. It's at the Hammonasset School. That's Saturday, October the 27th. Music provided by a former Guilford football player, Big John Seville. And this is put on by the alumni parents. So you're all invited. Hope you'll attend October the 27th.
I know. I've been to it before, Chris, and it is a great, great time.
Second down for the Tigers. 10 for the first down. They need a heck of a lot more than that. Thompson will sprint left. Sideline to Nye. And they say incomplete up near midfield. Third down, Tigers.
And Duke Speller once again putting a lot of pressure on David Thompson on that play. Speller, who limped off the field earlier and then was down for a while with an injury, has come back very, very strong since that time. And that's also got to make the basketball people at Middletown happy, because last year with Woodrow Wilson, he was a big member of a pretty good basketball team.
Third down, Tigers. Thompson does not go for the shotgun. They'll go in the eye. Simmons and Metz in there. And Rankin. Or was that
James, number 31, number 41, Roosevelt James.
James.
That time,
all the way from Nye.
That time, James turned the wrong way. Nye had him spun, and Thompson's pass was to the inside, and that's where Roosevelt James's arm was, and he didn't even really see the ball. He was kind of shaking his head because he thought he might have an interception. He didn't even see the ball on that, but he made a nice knockdown on the play.
Well, this could be the ball game, Tigers. Fourth down. They need 10 for the first. Thompson straight back, being pursued. They set the screen up nicely to Simmons. I don't know if he'll get enough for a first down. Up, stumbles forward, and there may have been a fumble on the play.
No, he's got the first down. There's a flag on the play, however, and I think you're going to see hand penalized for illegal receiver, although I'm not positive. The flag was thrown right across the 50. No, they're going to call a defensive hold on Middletown. Oh my goodness, that's a little interesting. I don't recall seeing one of them this year.
No, Simmons running behind a wall of hand players. I'm not sure what type of hold there would be on a play like that.
Unless it was holding somebody trying to go out on a pass pattern deeper, somebody that we didn't see.
We were basically on the other side of the field and had a receiver split to the left side. There may have been some hold in the line of scrimmage that we didn't see as we watched the play develop to the right side.
The officials are coming back to mark it off, and this is a 15-yard penalty against Middletown, and will give Hand a first down.
Middletown penalized 15 yards for pass interference.
They're calling it pass interference. Okay, the original signal was holding, which is only a 5-yard penalty, defensive holding, but they signal pass interference on the play. So Hand has another life with 1:54 to go.
Thompson goes into this shotgun. Running room to the right side. Slips past the tackle on Skeen and finally taken down by number 69. Or 68, I guess, Brian White.
It'll be 2nd and 5.
68, Brian White, whose name we haven't really mentioned a whole lot tonight, but came in and made a nice play there.
Minute 20 to go. Thompson sprints right, tucks it under, but now looks to throw to Duncanson, forced to run, steps out of bounds at about the 31-yard line.
He's in a situation here where Middletown is just playing way, way off the ball. They've got people 30 yards downfield. He had Duncanson there, but Duncanson basically was covered. And the way he's been throwing the ball tonight, I mean, you know, at this point, with 1:14 to go, needing 3 touchdowns, it doesn't really make all that much difference, I guess.
Duncanson and Metz to the left side. Shotgun once again. Minute 13. Out to the side, deflected by Skeen, intended for Scott Duncanson. Falls incomplete at about the 25.
And now with a 4th down play, Tigers needing 3 for a first down, and 21 points, minute 9, doesn't compute.
Fourth down for the Tigers. 2.5 for a first down. Thompson sprints left, being pursued. Forced to throw the ball now. Sullivan in and out of his hands. Deflected by Roosevelt James.
Once again, Middletown had great pressure on. Duke Speller is limping again, but once again, he was there to put a lot of pressure on, along with number 54, Steve Pillarella, who is a tri-captain of this Middletown High team. And that basically is going to do it. With 1:01 to go, Middletown should be able to run out the clock without a whole lot of problems here and drop Hand's record to 5-1 while picking its own record up to 6-0 in what was definitely an outstanding effort by Middletown High team tonight.
Can't say enough about this Middletown team. Extremely quick.
I know I voted them 5th in the state poll last week, and I think I'm going to have to vote them higher this week.
Straight ahead, clock ticking, 50 seconds to go. And the Tigers, they were ranked 2nd. And they will drop a few notches, I presume.
Well, I would have a tendency to guess that Middletown will drop. You know, several teams in the top 10 playing each other this week. Derby and Sonia, of course, is the real biggie. But at this point, it's got to look like, unless Derby really does a job and Sonia, that Torrington, would, assuming it wins, will probably stay number 1. But I'm going to guess Middletown moves up a couple of notches from number 7 also, probably at least to 4th or 5th. This is a very impressive football team.
Second down, right side.
Jay Robinson carries the ball.
Jay Robinson, the ball carrier. Stopped at about 38. There's 7 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1. Goalposts start to shake a bit. And the Middletown
Officials just let the clock run out. People started to come onto the field. A couple of people went after the goalposts at the far end. And Middletown High coaches, to their credit, there are 3 Middletown High assistant coaches standing around the goalpost telling their kids, be happy, but let's not do any damage down here. This is the first game in what could turn out to be a heck of a relationship between these 2 teams. If this one's any indication of it, I imagine the Tigers would like to play Middletown again.
No question, about as much as they, after they get to think about it a while, as they'd like to play East Catholic in the Double M playoffs. at the end of this season. In credit for Middletown, though, I must say I haven't seen as many fans of an opposing team here at the Madison Surf Club all year. And besides the Xavier game of past years, I can't remember seeing so many fans from the opposing team. Almost, it appears to us, of equal numbers to the Hand Rooters.
Well, the Middletown people are, Middletown's a great sports town, as you know. And people will follow their ball clubs. And, of course, everybody also likes a winner. It's nice to be involved with that kind of a situation. And Middletown now at 6-0 has certainly helped itself out as well in the Class M playoff point race. Hand in Double M has not totally been hurt because everybody else in Double M already had a loss. So the Tigers were not in a position where they were going to drop from, say, 1st to 6th or 7th simply by losing. Right now, Hand is in a position where it is going to have to scrap for the rest of the season in order to get into the playoffs, because you've got a couple of teams downstate in Wilton and Darien, which routinely are going to be picking up those 110-point wins from Class L teams. Hand is in a situation right now where the toughest part of its schedule is over, although it does have the league left. It's you're looking at Morgan, Foran, Xavier, and Guilford in the next 4 weeks. And, of course, Xavier is always a very, very tough opponent. Falcons playing extremely well now after starting out the season very slowly with a tie and a loss in its first 2 games. Xavier has come on, won 3 in a row, and is sort of starting to creep back into the Class L race. So at this point, Hand is certainly not out of the playoff picture by any means. If you pick up Shoreline Times tomorrow, we'll have a complete rundown on everything in the entire division and look at what might lie ahead as well.
So big win for Middletown as they up their record to 6-0. But the Tigers, they can hang their heads high because not a lot was expected of them in the preseason, and they've just sort of rolled along as the second-ranked team in the state, and a 5-1 record. If you asked Larry Ciotti, I don't think he would have figured they would be as good as 5-1 and second-ranked in the state coming into this game, and 5-1 after this game.
Well, considering the fact that Hand has played 6 consecutive undefeated opponents, it means a very, very good schedule. Hand's opponents were 15-3-1 before tonight, 23-1, including this one, plus, of course, 5 losses that Hand had dealt to the other teams. That's a statistic that Paul Nichols went through and figured out for us, and that's pretty impressive when you consider the fact that Hand basically was coming back with only a couple of people who were in starting roles last year. The Tigers certainly have developed as a good football team, and tonight is one of those situations where they ran into a team that was very well prepared, very well coached, of course, by John Scooble, who's been to the playoffs himself a couple of times, and is a ball club which is certainly going to be heard from. I would have a tendency to guess the rest of the season, looking very quickly down Middletown's schedule. I don't see the Blue Dragons losing a ball game, and I would have a tendency to guess that you might, that first weekend in December, see Middletown in a Class M state playoff title game.
So that'll do it here from the Madison Surf Club. The final score, the Hand Tigers losing this one to the Blue Dragons of Middletown 28-7. And I guess before we go, Hal, why don't you quickly run down the recap of the scoring?
Okay, Tigers got on the board first on a 1-yard run by Kevin Piggott, and kick by Dennis Simmons was good at 7:28 of the first quarter. A 38-yard drive set up by a fumble recovery. Middletown came back in the second quarter, late in the first quarter with 1:12 to go. Kyle Skeen, a big 6'6" tight end, caught a 34-yard pass from Wade. Morello had the first of his 4 successful conversions, and the score was tied at 7-7. Middletown came right back again, 10:21 to go in the third period, when Jeff Gallagher found a hole up the middle and went 51 yards for what turned out to be the winning touchdown. And Morello added the kick again, and it was 14-7. Then twice in the fourth quarter, Gallagher scored again, once on a 1-yard run, once on a 7-yard run. The first at 11:28 to put Middletown up 21-0 after Morello made the kick, and then finally on a 7-yard run after a intercepted pass to make the final score 28-7.
Well, that'll do it here from the Madison Surf Club. For Hal Levy, I'm Chris Wallach. Thanks to our engineer, Bill Littell. We'll see you next week when the Hand Tigers take on the Morgan Huskies here at the Madison Surf Club. Once again, the final score, the number 7 ranked Blue Dragons of Middletown 28, and the number 2 ranked
Hand Tiger Football is brought to you by a grant from First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Madison, serving the shoreline communities for 50 years. Madison Community Television would like to thank the Hand Tiger Football Parents Club for their continuing support.